Hi, it's Zach B. Today's video is gonna be my coming out video, basically. I have 3 parts to my story. My first one will be coming out to all of my work friends or whatever. My second story is gonna be coming out to my aunt, because the first story leads into my coming out story to my aunt. And then my last story will be coming out to my best friend. So all of my friends from where I currently work used to hang out a lot more. They also took me to the first club that I've ever been to, and we pre-gamed before we went. And I got really drunk and ended up going. I also told myself I could not walk in there without being drunk, so they just made sure they got me there. So I'm there, we're hanging out, I'm drinking some out of their cups or whatever. We're dancing and just kind of having fun and everything. It's usually 8 to 12 of us that really go. So I am hanging out, and I noticed there is this guy there that I know. I've talked to him a little bit, over Snapchat and stuff, but I've never met him in person. This is also not the very first guy that I've ever talked to. It's just one that I was currently, I knew of, I talked to. We met on Tinder or whatever. By the way, none of the people that I worked with knew that I was, actually, it was never, I'm sure they knew, but it was never, out there. I never spoke the words, "Hi, I'm gay." So I see this guy, I message him, and I'm like, "Hey, I think I see you at this club I'm at. You should come say hi." So he ended up saying, "Hey, you should come outside, I'm going to go smoke a cigarette." I went out there, and my friend Taylor noticed that I had disappeared. So she goes looking for me, and she comes outside to see if I'm out there. So she sees me talking to this guy, and she's getting ready to walk over, and then she just kind of sees me lean in and kiss him. She basically, I guess thought I was okay, so she, kind of stood out there, and she hung out with a couple other people, and she kind of talked to them. The next day, she told me that she turned around and my hand was down his pants. So she comes and grabs me and pulls me back in and apologizes to him. We end up going back inside. I'm with them. He ends up messaging me again, and then he finds me, and we just kind of dance. And I'm around all of the people that I work with that came with us that night. And I'm dancing with this guy, and I basically shoved my hand down his pants. It's a life I live. I mean, I pretty much stuck with him all night. We made out, we hung out, we talked, we danced. I am so glad I did not work the next day, because I was the talk of work. Pretty much when I went back on Monday, everyone was talking about it. I mean, I didn't really care that much, just because, I mean, it's whatever. Remember them all telling me about it the next day and everything, and I was like, fuck it, whatever. It happened. So it's pretty much me, basically coming out to everyone at work. My coming out story to my aunt is probably my favorite, because it was kind of the easiest thing to do, but it also wasn't. The basic story is that we ended up going to Walmart together, and I told her I had to tell her something. So I tell her I can't look at her. I was like, "I can't look at you when I tell you this," because I don't know, I knew she wouldn't take it hard. I knew she would love me anyway. She's my rock, she's my everything. I tell her everything no matter what anyway. We're in the car, we're driving, and she lives in the country, so it's a long drive anyway. It's a 20-minute drive to Walmart. I kind of sit there, I'm like this, and I can't look at you when I tell you this. And she's like, "Okay, whatever, just tell me, Zach." And then she kind of sits there like this, and so I just basically tell her, I was like, so I made out with a guy. And she said, "Okay." And I said, "Yeah, and I stuck my hand down his pants." And she's like, "Okay." And I said, "Yeah, so I'm pretty much telling you I'm bi." And she was like, "Okay." So I think she kind of basically knew anyway. We talked about it a little bit in the car. She asked me a couple questions and stuff. I don't really remember the questions, but she supports me anyway and everything, so. Please ignore the fact that there's music randomly in the rest of this video. I don't know why that happened, but I just decided to listen to music. After I told my aunt, I pretty much just kind of posted it wherever, it didn't really matter. The first person I ever told was my best friend Ashley. We don't really talk as much anymore, but I mean, we're still there for each other. My last story is about me telling my best friend David that I used to live with. We lived together for about a year and a half. We did everything together. He is pretty much the biggest help that I had getting out of my parents' house. That'll also probably be in another video. I'm not gonna get into that right now because it's really crazy. So pretty much we were Snapchatting and I told him over Snapchat that I was into guys. He's straight, so he didn't take it very well, and he's kind of a bit young, or he was at the time. So I guess he didn't really know how to handle it. But I mean, we're friends now. We didn't talk for a while. I lived there. We didn't talk for probably the last 3 or 4 months that I was there, and then I ended up just moving out and getting an apartment by myself. I ended up getting an apartment with one of my friends that I used to work with. But we didn't really talk that much after that either. And then he messaged me one day and kind of told me he was sorry and that he still wanted to be friends. He still thinks of me as a brother, and I do too. He's still one of my best friends. We don't hang out as much as I want to, or I'm sure that he wants to, but we do live almost an hour away from each other. I do want to get back on a level where we can hang out more, but it's just kind of hard right now with how my bills and stuff are. But after he messaged me and we talked about everything, and I kind of just asked him why he changed his mind, why he all of a sudden was okay with me being gay. He pretty much just was telling me that he was okay with it, I should be able to live my life, and he loves me anyway. It's actually one of my favorite parts in my life about coming out, because I got to keep my best friend. I've not lost anyone in my life that I can think of because I came out. I mean, and if I did, it's your loss. I'm happy, I'm doing what I want. I don't have to answer to anyone other than myself, so it doesn't really matter to me. No one in my family really stopped talking to me because I came out. My brothers and sisters love me for it. My little brother hasn't really mentioned anything to me about it. I don't know if he ever will. He has me on Snapchat. He's never actually reached out and messaged me or anything. My other little brother, we don't really talk that much. He's a year and a half younger than me. We talk on holidays and birthdays. That's pretty much it. I don't even really know if he knows unless he checks Facebook or whatever. I don't think he has an issue with it. My parents know, but we didn't talk prior to that, so it didn't really have a huge effect on them or me. My birth mom doesn't care. She just wants me to be happy. I'm not really close with anyone in my family other than my aunt. So, I mean, honestly, none of them, their opinions really matter to me. My brothers and sisters, of course, I love them so much. Their opinion really matters to me greatly. I miss them a lot and everything. I have not seen them in a really long time, and that might be another video too. I guess advice for those of you who aren't out, and you're still trying to figure out who you are or whatever. It is a lot less stressful when you're just out and you are able to express yourself and just let everyone know and be comfortable with yourself. I know it takes time and you have to really know yourself before you can just jump out and just say it like some people. But I mean, you'll get there eventually, and I mean, you really, shouldn't be scared of it. It's who you are. Just, live your life.